I don't know if I feel like there's some people who are like me and they're healing and working through their stuff, that they like to hear other people's stories, just like I like to watch Soft White Underbelly. Highly recommend if you've never seen it. You have to space it out though, because it definitely like will drag you down, or depending on the storyline, it might be really triggering. But outside of that channel, it's rare to hear people want to hear, wow, this guy is like gets out of the truck, is like holding up the whole line of traffic trying to back out. Usually it's like at your therapist, or you just talk about it with a friend, but I don't have either of those things. So I don't know what I thought that this journey was going to be like, but I just didn't. Definitely has not been as expected. Like, I think a lot of it was like free, like that feeling of flight, and a lot of just like, even like fear of just like, I don't have other options, so we might just have to live out of my car, or just, it's weird. No, I don't know. I grew up in a mixed sort of setting, because my dad always looks like he wears his clothes till they're falling apart, and he'll drive a rundown truck. And he had a boat that was old. We called it Old Blue, because it was always breaking down. My dad was always working on it. And then he did buy another boat that was like a Cape Horn, and it was a nicer boat, but it was always this weird. And then our house was beautiful, and my mom always like really liked nice things and like antiques, and so it was a weird mix, because I didn't know that. And my dad always like has worked almost every single day of his life, like, and they made their choices, and they chose each other, and they chose work, and they chose drinking. And I don't know, I don't remember my mom drinking or doing drugs much when we were younger, but she just didn't leave my dad and she would fight with them at nighttime, and then at some point she started staying upstairs with us, so it was just always. And then she like said that my dad's family like brushed things under the rug, but then it was like neither of them talked about like the traumatic stories of that. I remember my mom saying like she didn't want us to have to go through what she went through, and she was very adamant about getting us involved in different things, and she was a stay-at-home mom until they got divorced and we were in high school. I think we were all driving at that point, and then she started working again, and she would always like deflect and talk about other people's families, like they weren't raised well. And like she worked for our friend, my sister's friend, she worked for her mom when she was like very first trying to get work, and then they kind of became business partners. She did other business with her. I don't want to give names, but anyway, and she was like this girl's mom was hardcore businesswoman, like type A, I guess, is like how I would like describe her. And like my mom would tell stories about how she like was verbally abusive to her daughter, and she was like something about saying like she thought that her mom would say something to my mom, and my mom was like, yeah, I think she's just like jealous. I think she's jealous, and like because I was a better mom or something. Like my mom would say that, and like sometimes she would say things like she did such a great job raising us, and like it's weird to me now because I'm like, how did I not see the insecurity? Like but it's like that's what your narcissism is normalized, and you don't know anything else. But my dad would always like applaud my mom, be like, you're doing such a good job raising them, and like it wasn't like she was like a bad mom. It was just like a lot of mixed signals and covert behavior. And I think with me and the way I am and like my moon sign and just like I like intimacy and honesty, so growing up in a family with a bunch of secrets is like an emotional disaster for me, because it doesn't matter anymore now. And like my dad wasn't like all good, like he chose to drink, like he liked to go hunting and fishing, and his kids weren't really into that. He liked to do skiing, and we all learned how to ski. And he liked hanging out with his friends and drinking. And my parents had like, I don't like the word TRASH, but like they were sketchy. I don't know how else to describe it. And into the right lane for this guy to get around me. He's on a bike. I know he wants to go fast. It looks like a fun bike. Riding in his loafers. Okay. Anyway. But it was like weird because it was like my family, we always had our needs met. Like there wasn't, I remember one time my mom complaining about not having enough money for something, and then like my grandmother stepped in and helped. So it was like, and she supposedly grew up without a lot of money, but then they had this real estate company that like did really well. So it was like my grandmother also like wore linen, and like I don't know, like I didn't know about a lot of that like detail wise, but like I know she had like a lot of cool like jewelry, and like she had a big house. I don't know the story behind that. My grandmother lived on a lake, so Lake Gertrude, and we'd go swimming. So yeah, I've always been around water. So, I mean, I didn't have, like, a close relationship with either of my parents. I think and then my dad didn't really, like, he was physically available, like, more so when, you know, like, when he stepped in to help with me and Teddy when my mom kicked us out and we needed somewhere to live, and, you know, and helped us get this house, and, like, he would call and be like, you know, ask if we needed anything, and, like, I would cook dinner, and like he would, you know, he was very easy to live with, and that was also like just, well, yes and no. Like at nighttime it was kind of scary because he would like lose muscle control when he was drinking, and it was like I would like put me and Teddy, I'd be bathing him and getting him to bed, and I wouldn't like interact with him because it was like made me really uncomfortable. But like aside from that, he wasn't like a belligerent or an angry drunk or anything like that. And there weren't any other there wasn't anything else that stood out to me, except that I remember when the hurricane hit, my dad was still going over to the port and not staying with us, and during the day at least. And then there was a couple times where I was going through something like Teddy wasn't sleeping, and my dad didn't like help in any way, but like, you know, because I'm like, anyway. And then one time he babysat for like a few hours, and when I got back, Teddy was like running around inside. My dad was outside smoking, and I was like, okay. So I'm like, yeah, they weren't like, my dad wasn't like reliable, even though it was just so weird, because it's like now he's had to step in so much financially, and like doing things like us going, we only have it a few times, but like going to get groceries. But it's just sort of like sad in a way, because I'm like, I wonder if we could have had more of a relationship. But I mean, I don't think that would have ever happened with him drinking the way that he wanted to. And I wasn't prepared. I mean, no one's prepared for things like your family getting sick. It's just such a weird situation that I don't even know how to process, because I mean, I will eventually, but like, I don't really know. Like, I offered to drive my dad around because or I'm doing Uber now, but I'm like, I'm still here. Like, both my brother and sister live away. They live, my sister's in Oregon and my brother's in Georgia, with his girlfriend. And so they all got away. So I'm like, but I'm like, this isn't what I want. I mean, I want to be there for sure, however I can be, but I'm like, it feels like I'm just starting to figure out how to do things independently, and I still don't have financial stuff figured out. And now my parents are getting, I don't know about my mom yet. I just thought it was going to be different. I thought I was going to have like financial security in some way. Like, it doesn't have to be billions of dollars, just like, you know, a plan to pay off my credit card debt and the ability maybe to afford my own place. Like, I'm 37 now. Like, it's nuts. And I have to be like, I mean, it's always kind of been this, it always puts me in this place of like, we're like, I didn't get, we didn't get disability. So, but still, I'm like, my dad could, you know, things could happen at any moment, and then we don't have, and I'm really up a creek, then we will probably be homeless, because unless some kind of like a miracle job lands in my lap, like, it's going to take the rest of my lifetime to unpack this, to understand what's real and what's not, and like, it just feels like I was sold a lie my whole life, and I'm still trying to figure out how to be stable and be an adult, and